Hey everybody, it is Dak here from the Ed Boys, and welcome to our old school RuneScape top 5 AFK Moneymakers guide. In this video, I'm going to tell you guys which AFK Moneymakers I believe are the best to use. These aren't necessarily ordered in least to most money per hour. I do take into consideration the level and money requirements, as well as how AFK it is. These are obviously not the only AFK moneymakers in the game, so there may be other AFK methods that you find you like to use more. I firmly believe the best moneymaker in the game is not the one that makes the most per hour, but it's the one you're actually willing to sit down and do because then it'll actually get done. I'm hoping that's the kind of moneymaker that I can give you today, so let's jump right in. Starting off our list of moneymakers is Monkfish. I'm a little biased with this choice because I'm a huge fan of fishing. It doesn't bring in the most money in this guide, about 100 to 150k an hour, but that's why it landed at number 5, just bumping gold amulets off the list since their only real benefit was being a free-to-play method. Monkfish are just as AFK as other fishing. It's not a perfect AFK scenario since you don't know when your fishing spot's going to disappear, but it still gives you a good chance to eat a snack, go to the bathroom, or get some homework done. There are some mid-level requirements for Monkfish requiring 62 to catch, 80 plus to catch efficiently, and the completion of the Swan Song quest. But the peacefulness of fishing and the bank only being a few steps away, Monkfish are a real great way to start off this list. Coming in at number 4, we have fletching, but not just all fletching, turning logs into unstrung longbows especially. Stringing unstrung longbows is still a great AFK moneymaker, it's just not as AFK, so we're really going to focus on cutting them. The top 3 logs to cut into bows would be maple logs, which have a low requirement, yew logs, which make the most money, and magic logs, which give you the most XP. You can cut bows at any bank, all you need is a knife and the fletching level required. This method proves to be very AFK because it always takes the same amount of time for you to cut your 27 logs into bows, and you don't ever have to walk to the bank since you can stand right next to it. Number 3 on this list is grinding unicorn horns into unicorn horn dust. If you're a free-to-play player, you could grind chocolate bars into chocolate dust with a knife instead. It's basically the same method, just for less money and unfortunately much less AFK, since the pestle and mortar is a members only item and you have to click on every chocolate bar with a knife. The trickiest parts of this method is buying the unicorn horns and selling back the dust. These items are traded pretty commonly, but not as much as logs and bows, so it takes a little bit more experience and understanding of the grain exchange. Outside of trading the goods, this method works very much like the last one. You can do it at any bank and the load always takes the same amount of time, so you know when you have to look back at your screen. You can also use your pestle and mortar on every unicorn horn to speed up the process, but this does take away the AFK part of the method. This method has the potential to make the most money per hour of any other method on this top 5 list, and it has 0 level requirements. Number 2 on our AFK Moneymakers list is the Wonder of Bowstrings. This is the simplest and easiest way to make money. Only requiring 10 crafting, you can turn flax into bowstring. Flax, guys, cost less than 10 coins a piece. Well, let's say it's about 10 coins a piece. If you only have 1k to your name, that means you can buy 100 flax, and you can sell back 100 bowstrings for about 10k. There are times where bowstrings are even up to 200 coins a piece instead of the average 100, and that would mean turning your 1k into 20k in honestly about 5 minutes. Bowstrings generally are about 150 to 200k an hour, but there is a giant fluctuation. Bowstrings go from 100 to 200 coins pretty commonly, but either way, it's a great profit, and it is very AFK. You can use Sears Village or Lumbridge Castle. They're both viable options, and the only non-AFK part about it is running back to the bank, which is not a very far run. I did say that unicorn horns had the potential to make the most money on this list, which is true, but bowstrings are a much simpler method to do, and they don't require really any money to start. Overall, they're much more consistent. And finally, the number 1 AFK moneymaker, again, just in my opinion, guys, would be Cannonballs. This is probably a pretty obvious one. It's hands down the most AFK moneymaker in the game, not only giving you like 3 or 4 minutes of time to look away from your screen and be the multitasking generation that we are, but it still brings in some half-decent money, maxing around 200k an hour, usually more like 150k an hour. It's not anything to burn your chicken about, but if you sit down and do some homework for a few hours, you can make up to 600k just doing your homework, and that is a good night's work. Cannonballs are also very consistent, unlike skills like fishing or woodcutting. The XP is pretty ugly, let's be honest, but it's a money-making guide, not an XP guide. Many people use the port Phasmatisse furnace, believing that it's the closest, but according to the wiki, Edgeville furnace is 3 steps closer to a bank. And if you have any proof that the wiki's wrong, please just go change it. That also would mean the Shiloh Village is the closest furnace, being another 3 steps closer. But the Edgeville furnace only requires you to be a member. You don't have to do any quests for it. So since you already need to be a member to make Cannonballs, it really seems like the most reasonable option. I would like to give some credit to an AFK moneymaker that didn't make this list. Flipping is a moneymaker that not only has the potential to be the most AFK method, but also has the most potential for money per hour. This didn't make the top 5 because if you started watching this video looking for AFK moneymakers and I just said flipping, half of you would have just left. It's a high risk, high reward method that I'm really not going to get into this video. There's definitely a ton of variables involved with flipping, but it's something that can take well over 5 to 10 minutes in between button clicks, and the money that you can make from it really doesn't have a limit. It's kind of up to you and how much money you have to flip with. It's something that you have to learn though. It's not a simple method by any means, but again, I will not be getting into that in this guide. This is going to wrap up our top 5 AFK moneymaker guide, everybody. There's obviously way more AFK moneymakers out there than just the 8 that were mentioned in this video. So if you have some others you would like to discuss, I am definitely willing to discuss them in the comments section below, so hit me up there. And best of luck with your AFK money-making endeavors. Thank you everyone for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to click on that like button and tell us what you enjoyed about it. If you're looking for some more RuneScape videos like this one, then be sure to join the cul-de-sac by subscribing for more. We will see you next time.